The Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus path forward is taking shape with renewed initiatives for cooperation, the proposal for a two-state solution, and the questions about the island's future. To discuss these critical issues, I sat down with the Turkish Cypriot President Ersin Tatar. I am Naim Öngören and this is One on One. Mr. President, thank you very much for speaking to TRT World. It's great to have you on our program. I would like to start with the latest informal talks held in Geneva. So what are your opinions about these talks and what were the outcomes of the meeting?
Well, obviously, with the invitation of the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, we were honored to be in Geneva. Alongside us, our motherland, Turkey, guarantor power also. Hakan Fidan, the foreign minister, was there. Greece was represented by their foreign minister. United Kingdom was also there with a different level of minister. Obviously, the Greek Cypriot leader and the Secretary General himself. Therefore, to be invited to such a conference, although informal, after 4 years from where we, for the first time, put forward a vision outside of the box, as it were, our new policy that any formal negotiations can only start if our sovereign equality and equal international status is recognized. In other words, if we are going to open it up, a two-state solution. That was put forward 4 years ago at the same place in Geneva, in the United Nations office buildings. After 4 years, to be invited again to put forward our new policies, as it were, was, I think, an accomplishment on our behalf, because the Greek Cypriots went there with a view to start or to commence negotiations where they were cut off in Crans-Montana. That's obviously a federation model. But we did say at a number of occasions that we will never discuss federation anymore. That federation is in the past, and we will never go back to the past because those efforts have all been exhausted. So I was, in a way, satisfied to invite it again because they knew very well that I was going to go there to be talking about a two-state solution. Greek Cypriots were hoping that somehow the United Nations would press us to resume negotiations from where they were left off at Crans-Montana. But obviously they couldn't because we were not prepared to discuss that. So we went there. Obviously, everybody said what they had to say, but we said we are here to cooperate on various issues in Cyprus that would benefit both sides, the Greek Cypriots and Turkish Cypriots.
Mr. President, we are now in this newly built presidential complex, and thank you very much for hosting us here. So, what do you think about this presidential complex, and how do you think it will contribute in shaping the future of the governance in TRNC, both domestically and internationally?
This is a major project. I would call this the project of the century. Obviously, when I was elected nearly 4.5 years ago, at his first meeting, President Erdogan, to the old building, all the people accompanying him, the press, the ministers, all the other people, they just couldn't get in because there's just one room there, one little room, 5 meters square maybe, and it was packed up, and a short while after, rain started. And nobody could come in. They were all outside in the rain, couldn't come in to shelter. And I said to President Erdogan, unfortunately, this building was the home for the deputy governor of the British regime. And this house or villa was built by the British for their deputy governor. And said, if you can find a plot of land, we can build something better for the Turkish Cypriots, because at the end of the day, we are trying to get the TRNC recognized as a Turkish Cypriot state in the Eastern Mediterranean, an independent state, which is very important for the Turkish world, for Turkey, and for Turkish Cypriots. So this is a major project with all these buildings that would be servicing the Turkish Cypriots for centuries. So it's a major investment, it's a major project, and I think it's a message to the world that the Turkish Cypriots are independent, they've got their own authority, and this whole project would contribute to the recognition of the TRNC. I think thousands of people would visit here, would be visiting here, and all these crossings between the north and the south, just the road here, every time that the foreigners and Greek Cypriots come to the north, they will be seeing this beautiful building, this beautiful project, and they would, I hope, feel respect to the Turkish Cypriots and our motherland country, Turkey Republic, for their support. So I think it's an expression of our independence. In that respect, it's a very gratifying project. And I very much would like to take this opportunity to thank President Erdogan and the Turkish government for their support.
And with the upcoming presidential election in TRNC and your intention to seek for the second term, what will be your central policies and themes for your election campaign?
Well, obviously, for the last 4.5 years, which will be 5 years in October, I've been propagating and obviously supporting this new policy out of the box, something new, a two-state solution. In other words, if we are going to have formal negotiations for the solution of the Cyprus problem, which would be just and sustainable, we should have a common ground, and to be able to find this common ground, they should recognize sovereign equality and equal international status of the Turkish Cypriots. My policy that I represent is 4.5 years, which will be 5 years in October, is basically a new policy based on sovereign equality, sovereignty of Turkish Cypriots, whereas my opposition, they don't emphasize the word sovereignty, and they say that the only for is a federal structure, because the United Nations Security Council resolutions going back 50 or 60 years, they talk about a federation, and they forget that with all our good intentions, with the support of Turkey, like the Annan plan, we supported that federation, but it failed because the Greek Cypriots overwhelmingly said no to the plan. So if they continue to say no to the plan, and they will, I'm sure, why should we waste time? So we will go a new way, and this new way is a two-state solution. So my position is that I'm going to stand again for elections based on what I proposed 4.5 years ago, a two-state solution. And the other thing is obviously to develop the TRNC, because my opposition would, when you listen to them, they say, before or until you find a solution to the Cyprus problem, there is no way the Turkish Cypriots can develop. There is no way the Turkish Cypriots can develop their institutions and become more viable and become happy. And I say, look, you are wrong, because despite the embargo and isolation, with the support of Turkey, Turkish Cypriots have developed the TRNC so much. We got so many good hotels with beds. We got so many foreign students studying at our universities. We brought in water from Turkey, and we are able to do real agriculture. We have a lot of services sectors. We have a lot of construction sector going on. A lot of people coming from outside, respecting TRNC, despite some problems. So my basically policy would be two-state solution and consolidation and growth of the TRNC with my new vision, because this new vision consists the conviction that TRNC should get stronger. We cannot wait for the Greek Cypriots to come out for a solution and then the Turkish Cypriots to prosper. We should do our best with our natural resources, with our connections, with motherland Turkey support, to have our economy grow and basically be able to offer more wealth to our citizens and a higher gross national product with good environment and with good other policies that would, in a way, be a reflection of our good quality life. And obviously, to be able to do all this, you have to have good relation with Turkey. Turkey is not only motherland, Turkey is also guarantor power and also the superpower of this region. Turkey, from Iskender all the way to Aegean Islands, is 2,000 kilometers of coastline to the Eastern Mediterranean and only 60 kilometers away from Cyprus. So Turkey can help the Turkish Cypriots prosper, but obviously all this should be in the context of a program and planning.
A major technology and aviation event will be held for the first time in TRNC this year. What does hosting such a major event, Technofest, mean for TRNC?
When I visited Selçuk Bayraktar some 2 years ago at Baykar, I proposed that the 11th Teknofest festival does take place in the TRNC. And he considered and he told me he will do his best because obviously having it away from Turkey here would mean higher cost, would mean some technicality problems, and obviously more difficult. However, thanks to Selçuk Bey, he said, yes, we will do it. And when we look at the program and the dates, the best available date was from 1st to 4th of May 2025, and now we are there. 2 years ago, it was, oh, we still got 2 years, so it was as if it was a long time away, but that time has arrived. So this week we will start the project, and we expect hundreds of thousands of people to visit. At least 25,000 people are coming from Anatolia, Turkey, to be with us at the Teknofest Festival. And Technofest Festival, as you know, with technology and aircrafts and other criteria like space and science and technology, it's an accomplishment of Selçuk Bayraktar and TH Vakfı, and I'm sure that a lot of young people would cherish and they would contribute to the success of the festival, and they will be competing on various projects. And on the third evening, when President Erdogan, I hope, will join us, we will be sharing out all the rewards to the winners of the competition that will be happening here in North Cyprus. So I take this opportunity once again to thank Selçuk Bayraktar and TH Vakfı for their belief in us, and that they had the courage to bring Teknofest to North Cyprus. And I just very much hope that a lot of young people and a lot of people in the position of knowledge and science, they come and join us in this Teknofest festival, where we can be enjoying the enrichness of the festival, which I'm sure would be very successful.
Mr. President, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.